Seven. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. I have a motion to approve the agenda. The move. Second. All in favor?
Sorry, go ahead. Second. Ron.
I did. I think someone else. That's okay. It's time for public comment. Is there any public comment here or online?
Is there any here?
Online?
If anybody would like to participate in public comment, please raise your hand. Seeing none.
All right. Item 4, discussion of confidential attorney client. As we're talking about later, about a action to rescind a motion that, or a vote that was made 8 months ago. We have new board members, we have a variety of issues that have occurred over the 8 months, and it's a serious matter to rescind it. And Tom Mooney here from Shipman and Goodman, the district council is here. Will talk about the need to go into executive session.
Yes, I'm here prepared to talk about the legal implications of this proposed vote. And I prepared a legal memorandum so that the board members are fully apprised of all the implications of the vote, one way or the other, so that they can exercise their judgment with all the appropriate information. And executive session is expressly privileged in this case by the Freedom of Information Law, specifically section 1210B10 states that written communications between a board of education, a public agency and its attorney are privileged communications. And the executive session statute 1-200 says that the board has the right to go into executive session to discuss anytime a discussion would result in the disclosure of information contained in a confidential communication. One last point, and I'm happy to answer any other questions you might have, but because this is a privileged communication, and this is a well-established principle that people have the right to talk confidentially with their lawyers, if I were to share this advice in public, it would constitute a waiver of that privilege. And then all prior discussions would be subject to public disclosure. And that, of course, is contrary to the whole point of being able to talk with your lawyer privately.
I have a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of this, and invite Tom Mooney and Sydney Leggett to be there.
So moved.
The second.
Second.
All right. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Abstention?
I personally think it should be public, but from what you're saying legally, you're saying there's no other option to discuss it as public information, then
Right, the votes have it, so we will move down to Dr. Leggett's office.
Bob, will you call me?
I will call you.
Thank you.
Ready for me to go live again?
Yeah.
Okay. We're back. We're live again.
Thank you. Item number 5, I got a revised motion. I'll move it right now, and then I need a motion to. I'll read it, and then I need a privilege. Move that the Board of Education hereby concludes its vote of July 16th, 2025 on indemnification was not required and had no legal effect. And move further that said vote is therefore hereby rescinded. I have a person to accept that motion.
So moved.
I have a second.
Second.
Yes, Nick, is there any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, we have a vote. We just have to do personally. Christine, do you want to start?
Yes.
Maura,
Yes.
Lucy,
Nay.
Mark,
Yes.
Jamie? Sorry.
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
all right,
Linda,
Linda,
Aye.
aye. All right,
Bob,
and myself, I would vote no, I think, and for a very specific reason, but thank you very much. The vote passes.
Yeah, I'd like to make a couple comments that this motion does not affect in any way the decision of the insurance company with regards to indemnification. And also, despite tonight's vote, I want to make it clear that I believe this board should support the indemnification of any past, present, or future board member when the district's insurance carrier determines that indemnification applies.
And that is a personal statement, not on behalf of the board.
Any other comments? All right.
Yeah, well, that was a really fascinating. I do want to say that, look, if based on everything that we had in our knowledge of the time, I would not change my vote. Knowing now about the fact that it's the insurance company that makes the decision, not us. That's why I voted to rescind the vote. That's all.
Thank you. Have a motion to approve the minutes of the Board of Education meeting from February 25th, 2026.
thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
Want me to walk you out?
No, I think I'll be.
You might need
Thank you,
your
Bill.
key to get through the door there.
Tim, I'll accompany Mr. Mooney, okay?
Thank you.
Yes.
Do I have a motion to approve the Board of Education minutes of February 25th?
So moved.
Second? Anybody?
Second.
Anybody? Thank you. Is there any questions, comments, any corrections? If not, all in favor? Aye. Linda,
Aye.
thank you. The superintendent's report. Thank you for writing that ahead of time.
I usually do.
I know.
I do have some good things to report in my superintendent's report, even if it's short, but it's going to be very exciting and powerful with a couple of things. I do want to start by inviting all of our board members to go to the Middlesex Transition Academy. You'll see the invitation there, especially our new members, to see the amazing, wonderful program that happens there. I can help you get in touch with Samantha Winkler, who's the program coordinator, but it's really worth a visit out there. Our restorative practices and core ethical values focus this month is on empathy and understanding. So you're going to see a little bit more happening with that. And dovetailing into that, I wanted to let you know some of the professional learning that our leadership team is doing. We're working with Dr. Valeda Wise on addressing harassment and discrimination, and specifically on the leadership team working towards creating some foundational systems for both proactive and reactive actions system-wide. So really looking pre-K through 12 the whole way through and putting a good system into place. This completely enhances what we've done so far with our new school climate law, the restorative practices work from this year. And for those of you who saw it at our student achievement meeting, the Linkit behavioral data and school climate meeting, the behavioral data that we're starting to monitor. In terms of our memorial project, the phase 3 proposal documents are officially out to bid. Pretty exciting news. The phase 2 bid awards have been voted on by the building committee and they're coming to you just next in this agenda. We have already started scheduling meetings for phase 4, furniture, fixtures and equipment. And I know Christine and Jamie will give a brief update on the school naming committee process, but here's the biggest exciting news is that the legislators have worked really hard for schools this year and especially construction projects. So last week, the legislature approved an increase in state reimbursement for the memorial project or for this upcoming project from 53 to 68% for approvable reimbursed costs. That is huge. So just to put some dollar signs on there, while we won't have some final figures, this is an estimated $10 million that will not be solely on the shoulders of Durham taxpayers. That is just a gigantic win for the district. We are so incredibly grateful to our legislators for really fighting for that.
Well, it brings our bonding down to about
24, 25 million, somewhere around there, for a $76 million renovation. I mean, that's just absolutely incredible.
Sydney, I just want to add that this project was specifically named in that bill. It wasn't like a broad,
Yes, yeah.
broad bill. It was like specifically named. So it's very cool.
And I think then Ken Delora was the main
Vin,
pusher.
yes, he was. He did a lot. He was amazing. And our swing space, and there was one other thing that was in there, the swing space costs and
The portables.
the portables.
The portables are the swing space.
I should add, though, we do have some oversight as well, meaning it's not just now a free-for-all because, oh, wow, we're looking really good financially.
Mhm.
There's still oversight of what is spent and how it's spent,
Yeah.
and no
Yeah,
use is
yeah.
being,
So,
because I worry about that when the money is flowing.
No.
so it doesn't mean we have 10 million more to spend. It means it's just gonna cost the
Exactly.
taxpayers 10 million less.
There's a cap.
Yeah, you still have to
Right.
stay within the budgeted amount.
I was just wondering, because I know you said that, you know, some representatives did a lot of work on this, that if, you know, they were gonna, you know, like either when we open or when the first like kind of like shovel goes in the ground, like I'm sure like we would notify them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Matt,
Okay.
Matt, Ritter's also been very helpful.
Yeah.
Kim has some of their best friends. They talk all the time.
That's great.
And we already talked about the budget and the policies are coming up again and it's been some committee cleanup throughout the year, but we're finally finished. And so just good news all around. Thank you.
Kim?
Very short, general fund, we finished the month of February with 62% expended, 99% encumbered, and 64% of our revenue received. The first round of sort of get your purchasing in, March 1st has come and gone. And so we are closing out purchase orders and, I'll have a better idea where we'll be ending the year. Right now, we will definitely be, always have to be, but we definitely be ending the year in a positive, and a little bit better than we did last year. So that's the good news. So that's all I have.
Thank you. I'd like to, the chairman's update. I also serve on the ACES board. They've, just announced the retirement of their executive director, and we've had a committee doing the review of and the hiring of the new executive director. I don't know if it's been announced the actual name, but I'll send it out to you as soon as I can. And I looked at their budget today, which is like $168 million. So it's I gotta vote on that tomorrow. So, but it has a lot of advantages for us. The updated memorial, I think you already did it. Right?
Yes. Mhm.
Again, we have one vote tonight on the consultants and environment. Also, on my chairman's update, just want to thank everybody who volunteered to serve on the capstone projects on Friday. I think if you hadn't done it before, you'll enjoy it. And I think that's a real help to the district to have people involved. Also, since your name's in there, you'll be asked to serve on the potential interviews next fall.
Already doing.
It has the kids come in and do interviews for a job, and we help oversee that.
I don't know if they're gonna want me on that one. I don't know. I could be tough.
They'll surprise you. I always surprised in how well they do. They go through a lot of training. Board communications and professional development. Had a couple of emails about snow. I think we might have talked about them at the last meeting. Snow removal and snow decisions on when we close school. I've had no request yet on changing our school accounting for snow days in our schedule yet. I think there's a lot of discussion in newspaper about it, so we'll probably get some discussion on that pretty soon.
In terms of adding snow days, so we added them into the calendar next year,
Yeah,
right? We added
this
them
year.
around Memorial Day weekend, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And for this year,
Right now, we're slated to end on the 18th, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the graduation's on the 12th.
The 12.
Fortunately, there's a weekend involved in that. I also had a request from Aaliyah Watson, who's a basketball and soccer player, that that the Shoreline Conference tournament was scheduled on the day of the prom. And we asked if we could take a look at that, and Sydney has a report.
So it looks like the Shoreline group, because it's a consortium regrouped and re-met. And so it looks like that there will be a date change so that there's no prom conflict. And right now it's slated to be May 20th. And we can show off that we have lights now, so they can go into the night and use the lights.
So that'll hopefully, I know HK had a prom that night too, or the night before. So
It happened last year too, right? It was
Right.
like the next day, I
Yeah.
think.
So anyway, that's, thank you. Thanks for everybody who worked on getting that changed. I think it's a big deal. Under new business, we have a vote to approve RFPQ/P 2025-007 hazardous material construction testing and monitoring services as recommended by the RSD 13 building committee. Kim, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so we had to have, monitoring of the hazardous materials at memorials, so we put a bid, an RFP out for, vendors. They did reply, I think there was 5 responses that we got. The building committee met last week and moved forward 1 vendor as the, proposed they voted and approved them to be brought to the Board of Ed for the Board of Ed approval. You have to approve anything over 25,000. Actually, it might be a little bit different than that, but anything of that amount, over a certain dollar amount has to come to the board as well. So that is for Panoni, is the vendor, and I have the motion here if anybody would like to make the motion.
Mark, can you do it? So you're on the building committee?
I just read this as,
As it is, yep.
I make a motion to approve award of RFP number 2025-007, Regional School District 13, Memorial School Hazardous Material Construction Testing and Monitoring State Project number 213-0051, RNV/EA to Panoni for the base bid not to exceed $80,168.50.
Have a second?
Second,
Any questions or comments? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Linda?
Aye.
Thank you. Next is second read of policies. Kristen, you want to take that?
It's the second read of the policies.
There weren't any changes on these from the last time?
No, I don't think so, and, these were the 3 that were brought by, all the hard work that Jenny Lucier has done. And if I remember correctly, there was like an option to adopt 1 policy. We opted to adopt the 3 that were proposed by Katie. So, just the second read.
Any questions? The vote to approve library collection and development and maintenance, library displays and programs, library materials review and reconsideration. Have a motion to adopt those.
So moved.
Have a second?
second,
Any comments? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. The next, our committee reports. First is Kristen. You speak.
I'm just gonna do both A and D
Yep.
together, okay? So we've had 2 school naming committee meetings since the last time we met. So we're really excited, that the 3 names have been identified. Starting on Monday, each student and staff member will be participating in the vote. The options are 3 Oaks Elementary School, Wadsworth Falls Elementary School, and Veterans Memorial Elementary School. The lower grades will just do kind of like a little classroom vote, and all staff can do via Google form, and then I think 5th grade and up is via Google form. Along with giving all of our staff and students an opportunity to vote, we will be placing ballot boxes. To be clear, these are not official ballot boxes, with ballots at each respective town hall, and any resident will be able to obtain a ballot Monday through Thursday of next week. Just for full transparency, we didn't do it through Friday because Middlefield has a half day on Fridays at their town hall. So we just did Monday through Thursday, and then we're gonna tally up the votes and meet March 25th.
We have the ballot boxes at each town hall. It's not necessarily a responsibility of a registrar or a town employee.
Yes, like they're not like
Get
checking
them out,
in,
put it in.
you know, but so. So yeah, that's where we are. And if anyone asks, like I've gotten a few people say like, oh, it seems so early that you're doing this, but as many of us might know, I mean, I'm not gonna blame Mrs. Lucinda, but she was a huge, I think, person to help steer that, because it is a huge undertaking to, you know, relabel all the books and everything. So give her like a nice, good head start, and we can start calling it something.
Yeah, and they can start using it on the documents and people start looking at, and also could work on color schemes and mascots and all those other things.
And I will say, when I did Reading Trust America Day last Monday, I did tell the 2 4th grade classes that I read to, and I mean, they just thought that was the coolest thing, that they get to vote, you know, and they were like very intrigued, like they were so excited. And then they were very excited when I told them they were gonna vote for a mascot, and there were a lot of ideas.
So that's part 2.
Yes. Mhm.
Thank you. Any other comments for Kristen? Christine? I keep calling Kristen because I was talking to Kristen tonight.
Christine,
Sorry.
I was wondering, when will the name be announced? Will it be announced at the
So,
meeting? Or-
at the school naming committee on the 25th, we'll say which one got the most votes. And then that name will then be presented to the full board at the April 1st meeting, because we have to vote to adopt the name.
Okay.
At that meeting.
Cool.
And it will not be an April Fool's joke.
And it has to be at the April meeting. So it's April 1st. I'm just thinking of meeting times. We have one, I think, on the 1st and the 8th.
Yeah,
right?
first, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so it'll be at the 1st.
at the first,
Okay.
just like a quick vote, I think at the beginning.
Yeah, we come back after the public hearing.
Yes.
So we have.
Yeah, so we can put it on that.
If we don't.
Mhm.
Thank you. Building committee met on February 18th and again on the 4th. I can speak to it. The 18th, we voted to basically approve the contract for phase 2. For the hazardous waste and demolition. And we also voted to approve the contract for the electrical gear, the generators and other switch gear that were in that contract. And we voted, as always, to pay some invoices. On the March 4th meeting, we voted to approve the vote that you just did tonight for the environmental consultant on the cleanup. So that was basically what we've done. Any other comments, Mark?
We did discuss in the March 4th meeting, the phase 4, the
Yeah.
FF&E, the furniture, finishes and equipment. just started that process, I guess. And I think we determined that we would go with the state
The state
program
has a
that has fixed
program.
pricing
Yeah.
and yeah, it seemed like the better option, so.
State has a fixed pricing program for the furniture and things like that.
Like pre-approved vendors, and
Yeah.
it seemed like a much more streamlined process.
So projects are moving fast. Student achievement.
At our February 25th meeting, we discussed the graduation requirements. We reviewed them because there were several community members that expressed concern about the change to the high school English credit requirements from 4 to 3. Concerns a minimum of 3. 4 would still be required if you were definitely going to college. Concerns included college acceptance requirements for English credits, lowering the high school education standards for the district, and what happens with students who decide later to go to college and only took 3 credits of English. After a lengthy discussion, the Achievement Committee agreed to send the policy back to the Policy Committee for further review. We also looked at the 10-year state assessment data overview, and I believe you all have received a copy of this as well. The committee reviewed the last 10 years of scores for the SBAC, for ELA, math, and NGSS scores, all of which are standardized tests. The pre-COVID ELA and math scores have still not been reached with math, with math scores basically staying static, but recovery is emerging. NGSS scores were examined from 2018 to the present. Before that, the tests were CMT and CAP, so they couldn't really make a comparison to that. Pre and post-COVID scores for science remained high, but have since dropped a bit. The next steps would include reestablishing aligned curriculum, consistent instructional practices, embedded data cycles across the school, address unfinished learning, especially in math, and monitor progress and make adjustments. The committee also discussed the content of future mid-year evaluations, what we want to see with regard to that, and how the current assessments that we were receiving are aimed towards student instructional needs rather than student growth. The committee would like to see student growth, how the district's data teams operate, and the protocol for analyzing student performance, and how our universal screeners used to identify early risk and guide interventions, and the need for consistent communication with parents regarding assessment results. Information will be brought to the next committee meeting with regard to that. We discussed online courses from the Connecticut State Department of Education. The issue was whether or not these courses should go through the committee's standard approval process or be automatically approved due to their state approval, and more information will be reported to the committee at our next meeting. And the last thing we discussed was, well, not the last thing, there's one little piece. Strategic planning and vision of a graduate update. All focus groups for the strategic planning process are completed. Sharing the information and finalizing planning categories is the next step. The initiative has been actually, instead of portrait of a graduate, it's vision of a graduate, and group discussion also revealed the need for a vision of instruction. And Will Overton, a student at the high school, applied to be a member of the Achievement Committee. His name was brought to the full board and he was already approved.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Thank you.
I just
And then-
want to say I was Will Overton's first grade teacher.
That's why,
Very proud.
that's why you're so far ahead.
It clearly must be.
That's it.
Was your sisters too?
I know, because I had a pair. I'm
Oh,
just kidding. That was for Sydney. She didn't give me credit. She missed it.
she got it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now it's time for public comment. Is there any public comment?
My name is Waylon Benbow. I have an appointment.
Sit down.
Okay, that's fine. I'll stand. I have an appointment to review my daughter's bullying and Title IX files.
We can't speak of any student confidential matters
I'm not, we made an appointment for me to view it.
at 7:30 this morning.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, I was here and I didn't hear from you, but it was 7:30 to 9:30
I
this
misunderstood.
morning.
7:30 to 9 p.m. Right.
I can have Matt get in touch for the next available time.
Thank you.
Any other comments online?
If you are online and you would like to have public input, please raise your hand.
Seeing none,
Seeing none.
the motion to adjourn,
So moved.
second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
See y'all.
Oh, how's it going there?
Feel better, Linda?
Thank you.
How's the conference?
That's great. That's great. I'll come back to this one. It's amazing.
All right.
far away land are you in?
I'm sorry?